Frocal appeared out of a conversation. The dream was to think about how in the next 10 years we can help Forest Row be the best version of itself.
As part of our work with Frocal, we realised that if we really wanted to enable as much as possible to happen in the community, getting involved in supporting people to run for the parish council election seems to be a critical piece of the puzzle.
And we think that a parish council that will work with the community, for the community, is going to be an incredible lever.
The last one, last but not least, is Forest Row Ward. So I, Trevor Scott, being the returning officer at the above election, do hereby give notice the number of votes recorded for each candidate on the said election is as follows.
Community is where you live and who you live amongst. It's a sense of belonging. I think at a very basic level, community pertains to our fundamental nature as social animals.
Good evening all. Good evening, how are you? So this is the third. The first one started off here in the village hall and then way back in the summer of June.
We've set out to convene and connect and catalyse different aspects of what's going on at community level in the village, particularly around energy and food and waste and water and well-being.
So the dream is, how do we get Forest Row to be the best version of itself, being resilient, being localized, and how can we join the dots? How can we get people together?
And I'd certainly like to hear from our representatives here to see if they've got thoughts and other things they may have heard from outside of this community.
We've got the elections in May. We've got to put our names down by March. Feels like we're starting to get a bit more focused.
This is our third meeting now, and the first two have been really good. We've been discussing a lot of really interesting ideas.
We do projects all over the world, and what I'm desperately always trying to do is encourage people to get involved.
But I hope to be part of the solution, not the problem. That's why I'm here, and we need to have a council that reflects the vibe of the village.
What we see in Forest Row is a very dynamic village with lots going on, and that's not being reflected in the way that our local politics is being run.
Parish councils can do so much that you can have people on one side wanting to look after the cemetery, and on the other side we have the Tony Lewins of this world saying, okay, we need a men's shed, we need this, we need that, and we have people, and this community is really active, coming in and saying, we want growing Fro, we want we want.
Now our aim is our accountabilities are outwards. We're acting in the interests of the circle, the big circle of Forest Row.
The parish council is our main interface with government in this country. So if you want to enable things to happen in your community, the first port of call is the parish council. There's a sense that the parish council at the moment, there's not very much engagement with the community with the parish council. and vice versa, the parish council and the community. There's a real sense that by increasing participation in what the parish council could be doing for the community, there's a sense we could do more together. We're very inspired by the example of what's happened in Frome, where a group of independent councillors ran for election 10 years ago and since then have enabled all kinds of amazing initiatives in and around the community, new community venues, more facilities and more engagement in the process of community over the last decade, such that many other independent initiatives have taken place enabled by the parish councillors, acting as a catalyser and an enabler.
The only way that we'll really be able to tackle them in a way that changes people's lives is at a community level. And so you've got to go outwards and properly engage people. How can we do things where real people are consistently and in large numbers the people who are making the decisions in their lives? So this isn't a completely new idea. There's places all over Britain where a small group of people have basically said, we need to change things. We need to move on and actually enter the 21st century with our council. So many systems are broken. If you as a community don't sort that out yourselves, it ain't gonna happen.
Hi. The idea that we have is for a group of independently minded people to step forward, to take a place in the parish council under the auspices of a set of principles that they want to engage with the community and that they want to enable as many things as possible to happen, while at the same time being responsible for their legislative responsibilities.
Frocal set out to connect, convene and catalyze. So we are not aiming to be the main actors in the community. We just want to support different areas where there is energy.
I think the sort of thing we're going to have to tackle basically at some point, which is probably just going to be a day of getting through, is the Hammerwood.
The 5th of May, and it's the day that we get the results for the parish council elections that happened yesterday. And I've been amazed when I went to go and vote, the real mixture of people. There were a lot of people going in and out, so I'm hoping it's more than it has been, and I'm hoping that lots of people have voted for Forest Row Forward for some change.
We're hoping in the next kind of half an hour or an hour we're going to find out what's happened in Forest Row.
We should be, probably about 15 minutes, I think.
Well, we're waiting and waiting and waiting, but so much to do here first.
Christie, Benjamin, Arthur, Hugh, Cox, Portia, Angelica, Evans, Angela, Susan, Andrew, Jeremy, Gilbert, Thomas, Paul, Harvey, Edouard, Jean-Marie, Hugo, Andrea, Louise, Jaffe, Zuzu, Ladieu, Anthony, Sigurd, Hale, Lewin, Adam, John, Scott, Maureen, Ann, Summers, and Alex Volkers are duly elected.